Yeah.
Glad to be here, Ed.
Mr. Murfreesboro, what's going on in Murfreesboro? We're going to talk about it
We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot going on. There's always something going on in Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you.
Thanks, Connor, for letting me know there's a volume button, so now I can hear everything.
I thought you knew that. I mean, you've been here a bunch of times.
Well, I love coming up here. Real estate market is kind of slow a little bit.
We're going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
But Murfreesboro, I don't know. Ed the zebra's been found. They've already written a book about Ed. I thought his name was Zeke.
What was his book?
Well, I've got a post coming out about it, but somebody in Chicago or somewhere, they're making money off. I think tax dollars need to stay in Rutherford County.
Goodness knows we need them right now. I can tell you that. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what.
Apparently, he liked Christiana because he didn't leave.
He never left, did he?
He never left. He stayed
in
there.
our area, which is where the wife and I live.
If I'm Christiana, I'm changing our names from the Wildcats to the Zebras.
I'm telling you, man.
Christiana Zebras.
Whatever. Hey, we're going to get started. Connor's going to kick us off here, if you don't mind. Are you pulling up that book on it? Will you quit? You're pulling up the book on the zebra?
Yeah, there's a book already.
Oh, great day. I'll tell you, folks, you don't know what he put up with up here when you get some of these people.
What's it called?
How much
$10.99. And
are you kidding me?
Look at the harness. It's very similar to the one he got picked up.
Have you got this on the air? Can people see
Ed
this?
the Zebra's Wild Vacation.
Is this going out on YouTube?
They can't see it on YouTube.
But we can share it.
Great day in the morning, man.
He's a money maker, the zebra.
Ed the zebra. Okay, whatever. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. This Ed here, Ed Raymer, and we're going to get started. And my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and yes, I'm still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
And that is a little rock and roll to kick off your Sunday night. And yes, this is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and I'm your host, Ed Raymer. This show, of course, is produced right here at the studios, WGNS AM 1450, 100.5 and 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We're having some power trouble here. I don't know what's going on. You can reach us tonight with your questions, comments, or ideas at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. And Connor will be glad to take your questions. We'll read them over there. If you're a little too high or too shy and don't want to go on the air, we certainly understand. And Mr. Bill Wilson, of course, is my guest tonight. Glad to have Bill back up here always. Now, how do you watch us or hear us? Of course, the old-fashioned way is 1450 AM and 100.5 or 101.9 FM right there on that little rectangular gadget in the dash of your car. That's called a radio. And some of you will press buttons on it. You'll see that thing comes on. It's got music on it. People like me and Bill on it. Hey, I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. Do that. A lot of people can find us on, what do you watch?
Somebody's
YouTube
listening,
Live?
Yeah, somebody's listening in Chattanooga. Carol Ann White.
Carol Ann Elmore. Yes.
Yeah.
Carol Ann.
All the way from Chattanooga. Yeah.
Yes, she listens just about every week. She's never called in. She's a little too high. She's a little too why? No, she's a little too shy. I'm sorry.
She's on
Carol,
the gun.
I'm sorry.
Is she on the gun?
That's my miscue. No. And she's a very loyal supporter, and I appreciate her so much.
Okay.
And, she is in Chattanooga, by the way. And many others. I'm sure Jeff will be calling us while. Jeff Neal. I talked to Jeff yesterday, and he was at an event. And, if you see us on YouTube right now or Facebook Live,
having a spiritual experience up here.
I don't know. I'm telling you, yeah. And, you can find us. My wife listens on Alexa. Stitcher, you kids know all that stuff. You don't know it, track down your nearest 7-year-old on your street. They'll be glad to help you through it. You can also download the WGNS app and take WGNS with you and listen whenever you wish, wherever you go. Angela Bingham, saw her and Angie Marie on the way out, doing a great job. Got to listen to a little of their broadcast tonight. Great job, doing great things here in the community in Rutherford County. And my guest tonight, as I've said before, is Bill Wilson. I'll tell you what I want to do, Connor, if we can, before we get started, let's go ahead and do some breaks, if we could. And let's do a few of those. And Bill and I will be back with you in just a minute. If you want, please feel free to call 615-893-1450. And we'll be back with you right after this. Stay with us. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
And we are back here at WGNS here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Bill, what's going on?
Well, I was going to ask you, Ed, and I probably could ask Scott or Brian.
Yep.
What's going on with this building? When is the city buying this? Are they going to demolish it? Because everything down there, Towns Creek's going on right across the street.
To my knowledge, the city's already bought all this. To my knowledge, and now don't hold me to this, and any of our listeners certainly don't hold me to it, because I'm not privy to the details of it. But it is my understanding what we will do, what the station will do. I have nothing to do with it. I have no ownership here whatsoever. But they will build a new building for the station, basically, which is going to be across the street in the vacant lot, as a lot of people know.
Right across the street.
Right. And you can get can't you go to the city website and get all the plans for this, Connor?
Get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, and you can get an idea of the sketches already there. And, between, what did the mayor say, July and September? September of this year.
I had told Bart and Scott that where Henry's Florist is, at the corner of Main and North Church Street, up there on the square, would be an ideal place for a radio show, a radio station.
Then the radio station used to be on the square?
American Graffiti, Wolfman Jack, who's been in the studio. Wolfman Jack's been up here.
Wolfman Jack.
If you remember American Graffiti, they have a radio show going on, and Wolfman Jack's in there, and it reminds me, Henry's Florist, that building reminds me for some reason. Think about it, you're having stuff downtown. You're having Friday Night Live. You're having the things that go on Saturday, the farmers market. You could have a show going on there. Have people walking.
And that's I would like that for us to be on ground level.
Yeah,
right there behind glass, broadcasting.
Yeah,
and many stations do that, but we're going to be, or as I understand, we're going to be upstairs again. They're going to put in an elevator. I'm not. If they want to get rid of me, all they got to do is just not put in an elevator, because I'm not climbing these stairs anymore. Well, I think it's codes.
I want to know who used the stairs back here. That's what I want to know.
That's when you got to make a quick getaway.
That's when you owe money, you get out.
Well, that's when Brian, when he's done something wrong in sports, he takes out the back way. There's a
the
car
fire
out.
escape. I call it the Stooge escape.
Him or John Dinkins have to take the back way out. So here we go.
And let's talk about them. They're up for some sort of award. I don't know the name of it.
Are they really? I did not know that.
It's the Round Table is up for award. Kudos to them.
Good.
I just wish I knew what the name of the award was.
I don't know.
They do a good job. They do a great job.
Sure.
I wanted to announce here, and I hope I don't get in trouble.
Okay,
but,
it's all right. Go ahead.
I'm planning on, Mayor McFarland's an aviator.
Okay. All right.
And I had this idea of him, not him flying me around. I'm going to fly with him sometime in the near future.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to do a live video, and we're going to call it the Mayor over Murfreesboro.
I think it'd be a good thing. I think it's a great idea.
Mayor, if you're listening, would you call in and get me the okay?
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I do, because
I've got to get it approved.
Definitely, sure, but definitely, I mean, the city has grown.
You can see the growth.
Much.
Yeah.
And the county, we're approaching 400,000 people, and it's just a matter of.
And he can tell me exactly what's going on here. What's that? And we'll get an update.
Yeah. I mean, in the whole right now, it looks as though, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I'm not even a spoke in the wheel. I just do a little weekly get together here every Sunday at 8:00. But it looks to me like we're holding up the whole show, because we're the only people left. I mean, goodness gracious, fire department's gone. Smitty was down there, the real estate office. He's been gone now for more than a year or two, whatever, I don't know. And good fellow too. And but there's nobody left. The car lots that were down at the end of there at Church and Broad,
right?
They're gone. There's one on each side.
It's had a facelift, and it's going to get more busier.
It's going to get busier, but it will take time to get that. And then across the street where the old Shoney's was,
right?
And there was a liquor store down there. That's gone. Hated to see that. Yeah. And
I thought you were trying to quit.
No, that helped. And no, I'm serious. But it is gone. And, they're starting to do some work down there. I guess there's some.
They're bringing the creek up.
Yeah.
Towns Creek, which was under Broad Street. When they built Broad, they had to get rid of that creek. It's under Broad Street, and it's going to be really nice.
Well, and there's some debate about that. Aren't they going to put a bridge or something?
Well, there's supposed to be a pedestrian bridge, I believe.
Pedestrian bridge, yeah.
It's either off West Main going over Broad.
Right.
Okay. I'd also heard it was going from here at the corner of Church over Broad.
Okay.
Crossing Broad right here. And that means you could have more people downtown. A city this size, I like to go downtown
as I understand the new plans is
being able to move around.
Going to be shopping. There's going to be condominiums. There's going to be some rentals.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything it's supposed to be.
And the Bank of America building at one time was the Jordan Hotel in the it was Will Jordan's family out of.
I know that name. I remember that name.
But he was kin to them. I'm pretty sure. But Murfreesboro at one time had 3 or 4 hotels. You had the Jordan Hotel.
Right.
You had the James K. Polk Hotel where SunTrust
And you
Bank
had
is.
the Jackson Motel.
No, you had the Haynes Hotel, which was
Now
where...
you're going back even before the Jackson. Okay, you're
and
going
then you
way
had a
back.
Periscope,
Yeah. Okay.
which was at the corner of Church and either College or Lytle. It's the building's still there, but it was there either during the Civil War or right after. It's called
right?
The Periscope, but it was more of a place you could go, like a bed and breakfast. But I think one time it was called the Periscope.
Right.
Bill Jakes can correct me on that, or Tucker.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I would like to see a trolley system. I've always, my favorite show growing up, besides Sanford and Son, was Mr. Rogers. Who didn't like Mr. Rogers? And it started with that trolley going into his castle.
That it did.
Now Connor's probably too young. He's too young to remember Mr. Rogers. He's 19 or 20.
Even Captain Kangaroo. You don't go back that far.
Oh Lord, Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo was my man.
But if you had a trolley,
Him and Mr. Green Jeans were it, man.
Yeah. If you had a trolley, and I talked to a buddy of mine who has a car, and you just did it on the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, the restaurants are open, bars are open, whatever, and you take people, or you do it during the day on Saturday and give people history tours. You take them over to Oakland's Mansion, take them to the battlefield.
Well, but could you
take
not
them
do
to
that?
Bradley. Take them over here to Bradley.
But here's the thing: could you not do that with the Rover that we've got right now?
Well, but a trolley would look cooler.
You're talking about on rails?
No,
A trolley.
a trolley that's on tires.
That's on tires. Okay.
Wheels.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I thought you were talking about putting in an entire trolley
But
system.
a lot of people don't know in the 1890s, Murfreesboro had a trolley, a horse-drawn trolley system.
Yeah. Now you were here then. And
No, I wasn't here then. I've done research. But think about that. It only lasted for 6 months. The guy, I think, went bankrupt. But not a lot of people want to ride behind a horse,
Right, yeah.
Have you ever ridden in the Rover? I took some time and rode in the Rover.
I have not.
You should.
No,
you should go so you'll know what you're talking about.
A good friend of ours is driving on one of those buses now.
Ashton Mack.
Ashton Mack.
Can we say McWhorter?
You say Ashton McWhorter. I don't think you'll get me in much trouble. But
pretty decent football player at one time.
He sure was.
Really a decent guy.
He was at Vanderbilt and had offers and messed up a knee. He messed up a knee. Yeah.
But riding the Rover, you kind of get an idea.
Today it'd be a whole different story.
What people go through to travel.
Yeah, but today it'd be a whole different story. They'd get him fixed up, patched up, and back on the field. Probably.
Yeah.
Unless it was just,
But the whole mobility thing,
Right.
When I grew up in the 70s, you called a ride with somebody if you weren't driving. But
sure.
Now you got Uber, you got Lyft, you got yada, yada, you got everything. But it'd be nice to have a trolley and also maybe have a train that left from Murfreesboro like Watertown has that goes into Nashville.
Right.
And that would give people who remember, I don't know when the last train left or did business. Well,
sure.
I think it would be cool to have a train to leave downtown Murfreesboro, go into Chattanooga, or go to Nashville.
Well, that's been everyone's dream now for the last 30 years. But you're going to have to...
And have history lessons on the way.
But you're going to have to... every morning... we watch Channel 5. I'm not endorsing one station over another. But if you look, the time, to get here, to get there, and time from here, it's always Murfreesboro is the longest. It's an hour, basically. If you're driving, it's your drive time.
You're exactly right.
Everybody's here. From Williamson County, 30 minutes. From Lebanon, 28 minutes. From wherever, 24 minutes. Here, 31 minutes. Here.
But you know why it's that way. It's not just because of Murfreesboro. If you're leaving Nashville, boom, you got to hit. You go through Laverne traffic, you go through Smyrna traffic, and then you go through Murfreesboro, and then we've got that Cherry Lane exit that's coming. I think it's going to 840.
Well, and in Laverne alone, there's a lot of industry still in Laverne.
Yeah,
and we're losing. By the way, losing Bridgestone. I cannot believe.
Yeah,
that was here when we moved here in 1980. Yeah, I cannot believe that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Kind of sad.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's sad anytime somebody loses their job or something that's been a part of the community for so long.
I think most of them will be taken care of.
Yeah.
If they wish to go over, where is it, over at McMinnville or
I
somewhere
think it's
over there?
somewhere in East Tennessee. But now if Nissan goes.
Oh, no, I don't see that.
I don't see that happening either. But
I mean, they're talking about cutting back several thousand jobs in the next 2 or 3 years, I think, or something like that. But I don't know that affects necessarily Smyrna that much. I'm sure it may affect.
You don't think about the way that it affects the economy in Middle Tennessee. All the spin-off companies that support Nissan. There's thousands of jobs, and I hope it's here 100 years from now.
Well, I mean, the people that make the seats for the cars, people that do the electronics, people that do the dashboards, put them together. It's everywhere. Do we have a caller online? I'm sorry. We have a caller online. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Mr. Raymer, how you doing?
Well, hello. Is this Jeff?
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, fine, Jeff. How are you? Jeff, say hello to Bill. He's here with us.
Hello, Bill. How you doing?
Hey,
Bill?
Jeff.
I was going to say, you were talking about Nissan. They're going to build another car over there. Plus, they took away, and they were making the Leaf at that plant, so they're moving that to Japan. They're going to build that over there.
They're going to build that over there. Now, when does this take place?
The Leaf electric car, they're moving that. They're going to build that over, in Japan.
Which car is it? Is it the Leaf?
Electric vehicle.
Oh.
You know, the anti-electric president we have, anti-electric cars and anti-drill, baby drill,
Right.
Price of gas is not it's so low. I think it's 45 cents. We're just so low. I can fill up about 20 cars on the price of gas now. It's going to go higher after that bombing last night. They get ready for it to go up again. So,
well.
I think we have $4 gas by August 1. They're going to be $4 or what do you think?
I don't know. At one time, Ed, you remember I had a Toyota Prius. Loved it. It was like driving a golf cart. By the way, Meredith, my partner, my girlfriend, is selling golf carts at Mikey's Motors. If you need a golf cart, go by Mikey's Motors and see Meredith.
She's selling golf carts?
But she still has a real estate license, but she's doing good. She's really doing good. She's kicking butt.
I don't doubt it at all.
But think about this. I had a Prius.
Sure.
Loved it. I loved it because you could drive from here to the Gulf on just about like a tank of gas.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, the thing that was most expensive, listeners, was the battery. If you had to get a new battery, those things were anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000, something like that.
Really?
Just the battery, the brain.
The battery. Wow.
But you could find them out of Atlanta cheaper. But is it under warranty? Yada yada yada. But I love driving that. My buddies who drive these big trucks or drive BMWs, they're making fun of me. You're doing it. I said, well, at least I'll never get carjacked. No one's going to carjack
I feel
a
the
Prius.
same way that old Buick I drive.
But now there may be some carjackings because of the price of gas going up. A Prius gets 40 miles to the gallon. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Jeff, what were you at? Where were you at yesterday? You called me yesterday. You were
I was in Manchester, Cobb County. They had a Fish Fry Democratic Party had a little fundraiser, and they had three. Well, two of them were elected. One of them's running for Desjardins. I did want to tell you that I meant to tell you yesterday the rumor I heard. I'm not going to say who said it. A couple people were saying it over there, but there's a rumor out there that Desjardins is going to retire. That's the rumor.
Well, I heard that last time around that he wasn't going to run.
The rumor is he's going to retire this time. He's not going to run, and he's not going to run in 2026. That's the big.
Well, maybe.
Everybody was 2-3 people was talking about it yesterday. Said that's the rumor they've heard that he's going to do that. Now, will he do it? I don't know. I don't know what he'll do. Of course, he never comes up here. So
I'd love to have a congressman that has an office. When Bart, I don't mean to interrupt, Jeff, but if we had a congressman that was from Murfreesboro, I think it was so much better.
We have one. He don't come up here.
I know.
They just don't know where Murfreesboro is. We've got one he can't find on the map. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He ain't in Marion County, Chattanooga, and South Pittsburgh down there.
That's where he lives, I think. It's down that area.
All right, so you don't know. He never heard of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
I told Mayor McFarland he would make it. He could run.
I mean, the lady that's running on the Democrats, she's from Fayetteville. I mean, I've seen her more than I've seen her yesterday.
You're talking about Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah,
I've seen
sure.
her. She's a whole lot better looking than Desjardins, I can tell you that. He's a whole lot better looking.
Callers.
Look at Desjardins, I can tell you. No, but there is a guy that's primary, and that's running against him in the primary. He's from McMillan. He seems like a nice guy, and I don't know what he'd do if Desjardins retires. I'm sure he's still going to run.
Is that Tom you're talking about?
Yeah, the guy was at town hall.
He was at the town hall. Yeah, at the town hall.
That night. So, but she was there, and then Abton Maine and Gloria Johnson was there. Gloria Johnson, real nice. I kind of spoke to her a little bit, and I was telling her about Tennessee. She's talking about different stuff, and Abton Maine got there late. I talked to her afterwards. She's real nice, and like I told you, Dayton said all that stuff for the show, and stuff. They all three of them were nice. They spoke, and it was a real good crowd.
Hey, Jeff.
Stuff like that. So.
Jeff, change the subject. Who's winning the OKC?
Indiana's up by 1.5.
I hope the Pacers win.
But Halliburton went out of lower. He hurt his lower leg trying to go to the basket. He's out for the rest of the game. So he got hurt in the first quarter. So
yeah,
they're up by 1 at halftime.
Well, OKC's been picked to win it the whole time, but
I think they have.
They're the best team. I mean, SGA's best player on the floor the other night. They didn't play worth.
Yeah.
Now, is this a championship game?
This is championship.
Game 7? Or?
Yeah. LSU won the World Series. College
LSU
World Series.
won the college World Series baseball.
And I did want to say shout out Stephen Reynolds. Saw him yesterday. I was good to see him. So I hadn't seen him in a while.
So Stephen Reynolds, okay.
Stephen's over there. And they had a lot of people here from Warren County. A whole bunch of people came up from Warren County.
And this was at Manchester, right, Jeff?
Yeah. They came from Meanville to Manchester. A whole lot of them from Warren County and Bedford County. And
right.
County.
Okay.
That wasn't just Manchester. It was different counties came up. So it was like I said, they had a real good crowd. It was people talking about it. I didn't want to say one thing. Gloria Johnson was talking about the different stuff. She was talking about the different things, and like men playing women's sports. Her brother played. He was talking about. He said, he asked her, their brother and sister, if he plays sports. He asked her, what you gonna do about it? He said, what you want me to do? I just said, what you want me to do? We ain't gonna do. Who governs? He said, you played high school sports in Tennessee, didn't you? Who governs that? NCAA. They do anything about it? You played college ball. NCAA, they didn't govern it. Well, you want the Congress to do something about that? She's trying to, and you could tell that. She said you could tell that wheels was turning in his mind. That he knew what he was saying was wrong. He thinks Congress ought to do this stuff. He knew all this stuff.
That's politics.
One final thing. She was over and she went to Greece for a month. She was over in Europe. She bought a bunch of like Holland and Britain, and she told us that the Europeans they think that all this is going to pass for America, and just that everybody she talked to over there, from Holland, Britain, all Europe, they hate Trump, can't stand it.
Yeah.
They can't, and they said they think it'll pass, and after this time America's going to be okay. And somebody said we had Boris Johnson. She said, well, Johnson ain't as Trump. But you don't know about that, but I just wanted to mention that. But it was a real good thing yesterday, and like I said, enjoy y'all show. And Bill, don't let nobody bring no zebra from Texas. Out the next day.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey,
okay. Keep coming back.
It's legal to own a zebra in Tennessee, but not a turtle.
Not a turtle. All right.
Okay.
Hang in there, guys. See you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Neal. Thank you, Jeff.
But
appreciate Jeff's support.
It is can I just say this?
Sure.
It is what it is.
Huh.
I'm talking about politics in general. I hate talking about politics now just because it gets everybody in the bad mood.
Yeah.
But it's ebb and flow. The Republicans will be in power or in power. If it all goes to
I would say they're at their peak right now.
They are the ones to blame. Okay, if things go south and they have no, they're elected.
They're the ones
just like if the Democrats.
Right.
My thing is, how is Joe Biden doing? I hope that he.
I don't know.
A lot of people hate him, but
I don't hate it. That's that's a waste of air and waste of your life.
I don't want him to pass it, but if he did, is he going to be in the rotation? And I should be talking like that.
No, he's 82, and but prostate cancer, and I do know a little something about that because I had prostate cancer, and they removed mine, but I was 51 at the time.
Yeah.
And my doctor told me then, Dr. Patrick Showalter, a fine man, and he said, let's go ahead at this point. And of course, we discussed it. My wife would, we discussed it and said we're going to. I think it would be best we go ahead and take your prostate out.
Yeah.
And said because if we do treat you and let's say you survive 10 years now, and if it comes back, the cancer.
Yeah.
Now you're 61 and you might not bounce back.
Well, that's what Dad passed from. He had prostate cancer.
Did he?
But he was 84 when he passed. Yeah.
Right.
Real good life. But yeah, prostate cancer.
Well, my granddad passed away from it, but that was in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have
the technology's different now.
They didn't even have a PSA screening.
Yeah.
So, guys, get your PSA screening. Get your urine checked. That's all it is.
Get your colon checked, too.
Yeah. They've got to do you got to do it. I mean, and when you're about, I think they're saying now maybe even as early as about 40.
Yeah.
And on our side of the family, this strain is alive and well. My granddad passed away from it. My dad had it. My uncle, Dad had it before he passed. And that's not what killed him. But and then my uncle, he's in California, and he has it. He was treated. They froze his.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I haven't talked to my uncle in several months, which I need to do, by the way. And then I have it.
What part of Kentucky did y'all come from?
Muhlenberg County.
What city is that?
Greenville. It's where Merle Travis came from.
But how is it? Middle Kentucky, Western Kentucky?
Western Kentucky. It's in the middle of the coal field. Okay. Western Kentucky was built by coal.
Gotcha.
It was built by
the
coal.
Hilltoppers.
Yeah. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, that's Bowling Green.
And Eastern Kentucky's in Richmond.
Eastern Kentucky's Richmond, but Eastern Kentucky's got its fair share of coal, too.
Yeah.
Coal and tobacco and thoroughbreds and whiskey. Take all four of those out of Kentucky.
Well,
you can just about do the same thing with Tennessee Walkers and whiskey here, and tobacco, because tobacco was big in Tennessee as well, but Kentucky and North Carolina were your...
Back in the day, when President Jackson, I think it's before he was president, his wife Rachel,
right?
Okay,
Rachel.
Men would say that she wasn't divorced or whatever and was married. She got a hard time. Okay,
right. Okay.
In those days it was different, but he'd get mad. He said, "Well, let's go duel," and they would go to Franklin, Kentucky, near Kenny Perry's golf course.
Yeah.
If you go through Franklin, there's going to say dueling grounds.
Uh-huh.
That's where Andrew Jackson would go. That wasn't the only place he went, but that was one of the places because it wasn't illegal. I mean,
was this when he was president, or this was before?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was before. I have to do my fact checks, but I do know that he did duel. He was a dueler.
Apparently, he won.
Yeah, he won, but Old Hickory. But he was. The Trail of Tears was under his thing, the Native Americans coming right down Memorial. I mean, we're skipping around here, but people don't realize the Trail of Tears ran right through Murfreesboro.
Right, of course.
There were thousands of children, women who died. It was wintertime, starvation, all moving towards Oklahoma to different Indian reservations. And but that's history. I mean, I love history. I'm a big history buff.
I know you do, and especially local history.
Yeah, we need to remember our history. We need to. I think we need to have some green spaces in Murfreesboro. That's something I was going to talk to Mayor McFarland about. We need. Gallatin has an ordinance. We're a lot bigger than Gallatin, but they have to have so many acres of green space.
Well,
I think it would be good.
You have
and I'm a
areas of the country, and this would be a county commission thing probably, okay? Not necessarily Murfreesboro City, okay? But you have in areas of the country where ground is set aside and it is for agricultural purposes.
Yeah.
That's it. Right across the street, it can be a whole subdivision.
Yeah.
But across the field, you may have cornfield or bean field or wheat field or a cotton field, whatever the case may be.
Well,
that's it, because we're going to have to feed us. I mean, California does a great job. Do you know, I was telling the wife, I think it was just last night, do you know that California, if it was a country, would have the fourth largest budget
the
in
GNP,
the world?
It's got the fourth.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know how one governor handles that. I really don't.
Well, it's huge. But
Unbelievable.
Yeah, going back to development, it literally makes me. It doesn't make me sick, but it makes me think. All the apartments and stuff that are going down between Medical Center,
I know,
and Wilkinson Pike. Hey, I think progressive is good.
Sure, that's fine.
But they're all
room.
apartments,
I know.
and how many soldiers died there? Or it's.
I know, and I agree. Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of at least markers or something.
My brother and sister-in-law live on part of that.
I used to live on Van Cleve Lane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Confederates ran back. That's where they got holed up over there, and Union took advantage of them, or pushing them back. But there needs to be more historical markers, is what I'm thinking.
Well, it's ironic. I was listening to Mike Sparks' show earlier this afternoon, and Commissioner Reed was on there, Pettis Reed, fine guy, great man, wonderful man. I won't call him great, but he's a fine fellow.
Mr. Versailles,
yeah. And he's out in the Rockvale area.
Yeah.
He's, of course, county commissioner out there. And they were talking about finding arrowheads. And he's found some, I think, that were just about, he's got all kinds. He has a collection of Civil War stuff right there on his farm. It's been in his family for years.
Yeah, exactly. He's got some great stories.
Yeah. And, they're still out there. Belt buckles, all that stuff. It can be found.
Yeah, Larry Hicklin. I've been hunting with him. He had the place called Yesteryear right next to the battlefield.
Right next to the battlefield.
It was a house.
Yeah.
I think he lived in the back of it.
It's still there, I believe.
I spoke out there at the cemetery out there at Beach Grove a couple weekends ago, and it's cool. I'm a relic. I like to go relic. I'm not good on finding stuff, but I have connections to where we can go hunt.
Do you do metal detecting still? I thought you did.
I haven't been in a few years, but there's a group called the Dig Dogs. You can look them up on YouTube. It's Tim Henderson, and see some videos that I was in. And those guys, I love going relic hunting and getting into a campsite or something, and start finding stuff.
And you find it. You can find that.
There was 80,000 troops here at one time.
Sure.
And Stones River was not the only battle. We had the Battle of Milton.
Sure.
We had the Battle of the Cedars. There was 3 battles in Murfreesboro. You had the Hoover's Gap, which was at the corner of Coffee, Bedford, Rutherford County, exit 97, where the first repeating rifle in the history of warfare was used, the Spencer repeating rifle.
Right.
And what was it, Juneteenth? What happened? The yesterday was June. What day was that? June.
That 19th. Was 19.
Okay,
that was the
Thursday
for this Friday.
Freedom of the freedom of slavery.
Freedom of slavery came out of Texas.
People don't know this, that President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and the first battle after that was the Battle of Murfreesboro, the Battle of Stones River.
To
get the morale up. And then that January 1st, which was the day they rested here of 1963, is when it went into law.
Really? Yeah.
And the final slaves who finally...
You're talking about the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right. And it was 1860. So that's 1863. It wasn't until later in 1865 that people traveled to Galveston, Texas to let some slaves know, hey, y'all are free. You're free.
Yeah.
But it'd already been in law for 2 years.
And I've heard stories too that a lot of those slaves, they said, well, that's great. I think we're just going to stay where we are.
Well, they didn't know. They didn't know any
better. It was going to be a gradual, and then many of the slaves later, their offspring and all that wound up traveling north for work, for jobs.
The Reconstruction period.
South didn't have anything.
Right.
And
pretty much leveled. Everything was.
Well, let me tell you, our family out of this wasn't Civil War, buddy.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1930s and 40s. Traveled to Cleveland, Ohio. Went to work in the auto industry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think your family ever did. Your family stayed pretty well here.
Well,
in Tennessee,
mother's got that family traced back to the Magna Carta. I think Dad's family was traced back to trailer park in Sparta. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. If any of my cousins are listening,
no, that was the Raymers.
That was the Raymers. But
I still think it is ironic how you and I got together. When we first moved here in 1980, because I was telling my dad, I was telling
Let's get something straight. We're not together. Tell people. Let's get that
not
straight.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Mr. Liberace with all your gold.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
Like Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
But you know what I'm saying.
You
when
got
we
your
moved here in
insurance through
1980, and we wound up. I went with Dad. Said, "Come on, son, you need to meet this guy," because I had my car insurance too with State Farm.
Yeah.
And went down and met a fellow by the name of Floyd Wilson.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, that's when he was in a building with Mel Adams. They were
partners for years.
And I think Preston Key sent us down there, and Preston said, "Go see Floyd."
And Ruth Jernigan was the secretary, and Barbara Henry was the other.
I didn't know them.
And they had when I go visit Dad, on their office was at the corner of Broad and Manson, next to Arby's.
That's right, next to Arby's.
After school, me and my buddies would go by his office, not to go visit, but they had a Coke machine.
That's right.
That was 15 cents. You drop a dime and a nickel and slide the Coke over.
Slide the Coke, right.
And then you save that bottle and get a nickel back. You know what I mean?
Sure,
hey,
man.
We're getting rich over here.
You're making money. You're having a good time the whole time.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, speaking of making money, we got to make just a little bit. Let's go to our last series of breaks. Ed Raymer for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. My guest, Bill Wilson, Mr. Murfreesboro. Bill W., we're here back with you, and we'll do the last 15 minutes back with you right after this. Stay with us. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions, weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy. Genetic analysis of most cancers is becoming more commonplace, and now identification of one specific mutation called a mismatch repair may allow people to avoid surgery entirely. Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center Director William Nelson explains.
What they started to see early on was when they used these immune checkpoint inhibitors, the cancers completely disappeared. And they were able to think for a minute and decided to see how long they could proceed, or could they proceed indefinitely without doing any other treatment, without surgery, without chemotherapy and radiation. This is a more extensive cohort of folks where they treated this way. They all got 6 months before a surgery that they may have otherwise had, or surgery, chemotherapy kind of thing. The rectal cancer ones, like that 49 of them, all of them had the cancer completely disappear.
Since these surgeries can be life-altering, being able to avoid that intervention entirely results in a much better quality of life. At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
Cannabis use can get riskier as you age. I'm Zach Dyer, and this is your KFF Health News Minute. Cannabis-related ER visits are on the rise among seniors, and new research points to potential harms for older users, like increased risk of heart attacks or dementia. Cannabis use has jumped among adults 65 and older, who are more likely than younger people to try it for therapeutic reasons. Federal health officials have stopped recommending COVID shots during pregnancy, but research shows they're safe and effective. Here's infectious disease specialist Neil Silverman.
For pregnant women, the vaccine clearly cuts the risk of severe complications of COVID infection.
COVID can cause blood clots and inflammation, which can put pregnant patients and their babies' lives at risk. And the shot passes on protection to newborns, who are among the most vulnerable to COVID. Read more at kffhealthnews.org.
Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions, weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullis Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard, right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, and we are back for our last 10 minutes or so with Mr. Bill Wilson. I'm Ed Raymer, Bill Wilson. We're here at WGNS 1450 AM, 101.9 FM, also 100.5 FM. Getting ready to get a new station. Mr. Bill Wilson is my guest. Mr. Murfreesboro, Bill W. Bill,
I wanted to
you
mention,
got a sale coming up.
I've got an auction coming up. Actually, it's Bob Bug will be doing it with Parks auction, July the 26th. I'm pretty sure that's a Saturday, and it's going to be out Lebanon Highway. It's going to be a house. It's like 3,000 feet, all one level. It's got nearly right at 7.9 acres.
How old is it?
It was built. It's a ranch style. That's I think it was built in the 50s. If you ever go towards like in Nashville, Green Hills, Westmead, that's what it reminds me of. Those. It's got a workshop. Right. It's got a place for an apartment. It's got a huge stock pond, a pavilion where somebody with a concrete floor, electricity, where they, it's like a compound. And then it's got some good soil. So if somebody wanted to build a house or two.
So you've got about 8 acres.
Right. And it's 2 minutes from the city limits.
Wow.
And it's real close to Cherry Lane, but that's gonna go July the 26th.
And it sits on 231.
Sits on 231.
Wow.
And the house sits way off the road.
Years ago, did you ever dream? I mean, everybody always dreams, but did you ever really think you'd sell a piece of property for $1 million?
Well, I mean,
you always,
let's back.
I'm talking about when we were kids. I'm talking about when we were kids.
I never thought that Murfreesboro would have developments where they're multi-million-dollar,
Oh, unbelievable.
Where the homes that are going for $1 million, whatever, 10 years ago, were going for $700,000. It's the cost of doing business and
that it is.
Those particular homes, the larger ones, people are either paying cash or they're putting a big chunk down. It's the homes that are like $500,000 and below. I mean, like the average sale price in Williamson County, I think, is over $1 million.
When we moved
and here, it's somewhere between 4 and 5 or something.
In 1980, Mom and Dad bought a 4-bedroom home in Smyrna. Brick. It's there right off Hazelwood Drive. A lot of folks, if they're listening, they know. And it's set right off Hazelwood, 103 Hutchinson Drive, $46,000.
Wow.
4 bedrooms. It was a split level, beautiful, well-built home because it was built back in the time Stewart Air Force Base was there. And a lot of those homes were built for the general, the colonels and people, the higher
officers.
Up. The officers, sure.
Yeah.
You got a caller? Yeah. Yes, caller, please. This is Ed. Go ahead.
Hey, Ed, it's Terry over in Knoxville. How are you doing tonight?
How are things in Knoxville, my friend?
Hot and humid.
It's about the same here. Say hello to Bill Wilson.
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Terry. How are you?
Good. I was listening to you talking about history earlier, and just wanted to add a few comments.
Go ahead.
If you all have ever had a weekend, you got some time to spend, go down to Shiloh National Park or Riley's Crossroads National Park, and you can see more than you've ever thought about the Civil War. It's amazing.
Shiloh was a bloody battle.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I don't think you heard it.
And Bryce's Crossroads wasn't anything to laugh at. That was down near Tupelo.
Now, how big an area are you talking about, Terry?
Well, they're both national parks.
Yeah, Shiloh's
great day.
They're huge.
A big to do. In fact, I had a great grandfather that fought against my other great grandfather at Shiloh.
Your people couldn't get along with anybody.
One of us from Arkansas. One was from Arkansas, and one was from Kentucky. Yeah. The Kentucky was the Union. The Arkansas was the Confederate.
Yeah.
And Shiloh is cool.
My family, the West family, is a first family of Tennessee. They've been here before Tennessee was a state.
State of Franklin.
Right. Great day.
That's cool. First of Tennessee. That's cool. How did you go about getting that? I'm just curious. Did you have to write in to the governor? How did you do that?
Well, that designation was done through the East Tennessee History Center, and any history center that has the records of the births and deaths of families in Tennessee.
Right.
And if you can certify your lineage either through Bibles or records.
Yeah.
And if they were here before 1796, then they were considered a first family.
Isn't that something? That's amazing.
That is one. Yeah. That's cool.
When I was a kid in the Scouts, I was the Eagle Scout, by the way. We took a trip when I was about 10 years old. We got on the train now in Knoxville, and we took a train all the way to Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's a long ride.
For the 100th anniversary of the Civil War battle down there.
The Vicksburg siege, yeah.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Now, how many of y'all took that trip, Terry? How many of your kids went?
Well, that was probably about 25 or 30 kids.
Which was a pretty good bunch back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So y'all were teenagers? Y'all were teenagers, or?
Yeah, it was our truth, but I mean,
y'all didn't try to take over commandeer the place, did you?
No.
I'm just checking. Yeah. I know how teenagers can be.
We stayed in a city park somewhere in the Vicksburg area where we camped out that night before we went over to the trail, and we went to a lot of Civil War battlefields in Chickamauga, Georgia.
Yeah,
there's about 7 or 8 trails down there. You can drive through them, and if you've never been a Civil War buff, it's not so much who won and all of this, but both sides are represented, and they have these huge memorials. You just wouldn't believe it unless you've seen them, and it shows the divisions and the infantry and where they were from.
Right. The statues, the monuments, and all that stuff.
Which I got to tell you, fellas, and Terry, Terry, you and I know what our politics are, okay? But with some of these statues and monuments and everything, and people raising Cain about it, I never had a problem with those. Now, you may have, I don't know. But I agreed with a friend of ours here in town. Let's have them all taken, and don't just take them down and melt them down or tear them up. Take them, they are part of history. It's a fact.
Yeah.
And take them and, for example, make a monument for an area designated for monuments, like at your community cemetery, seriously, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, or take them to the park, put them on the Confederate lines.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
sure.
People don't realize that the only state that had more battles is Virginia. It went Virginia and then Tennessee, as far as battles during the Civil War.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right? I didn't. If I knew it,
think about it. You go north or south, you've got to come through Tennessee.
Sure. Yeah.
And over here in Knoxville, we had the Battle of Fort Sanders, and the Confederates, they didn't hold it very long, and then General Burnside maintained Knoxville for the Union.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of the war. It wasn't too many battles over here.
Yeah, Eastern Tennessee was pro-Union, whereas your West Tennessee was Confederate and Middle Tennessee was Confederate.
Yeah, well, you get down towards Chattanooga, it was Confederate.
Yeah.
Sure. And then you ran into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Sure.
Tennessee was the last state to succeed and the first one to come back into the Union.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I'm
to
right
come back to the fold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we had a county over here in East Tennessee. I think it was Scott County.
Yep.
When Tennessee seceded from Union, they seceded from Tennessee.
The state of hey, you're right. The state of Scott.
Really?
Is that right? Yeah, it was its own state. But see, East Tennessee used to be known as the state of Franklin.
That's
you're
true.
kidding.
Yeah, before it was in the 1780s. It was before we became a state, but it was part of North Carolina.
Okay, all right.
That's how Franklin got its name, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now kids. As of Wednesday, we will be back on the air, and there will be a test given on the information given tonight. so please.
Is it true or false? Not to see.
Well, I know this is a relief from watching TV and politics all day.
And will somebody please call Morgan & Morgan and sue somebody, please?
Better call Saul.
Call
Saul. Great show.
Terry, thank you
nice
for
to
your
meet
input.
you, Terry.
We're going to have to go here. We've got less than a minute left. Thank you so much.
Nice talking with you. You guys have a good evening.
Yeah, buddy.
Take care. See you now. Bye. Terry Livingston over in East Tennessee, over in Knoxville. Good supporter, good friend, and good all-around fellow. That's good information.
Well, hey, I love it.
Now, you've been here what? You've been 6 generations, 5 or 6?
5 or 6. I've got people up in Carthage. Right. Some has been that were born in the 1760s. They're buried up there.
And Tennessee was made a state 1790.
It was 30 years later, 1796.
96. I think is what Terry just said.
Yeah, or 1796.
Well, he was right. That's better.
I've had fun, Ed. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you. I'm always.
Should we do a knock joke?
No. I'll do one.
Okay, let's do a knock.
A book with him. Who's there?
Okay, knock.
Who's there?
Shelby.
Shelby who?
She'll be coming around the mountain when
We've got to go, and Connor's going to get us out of here. He's praying. He's got the key to lock the door behind us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you. Appreciate it. Connor, thank you as usual. Folks, this is Ed Raymer for the Ed and Lee Raymer Show, and I'll tell you what, till next Sunday night, 8 o'clock, I'll catch you down the road. Good night.
Now an update from the WGNSradio.com News Center.